Traveling on a budget? Don't worry, you're not gonna miss out. Hi everyone, I'm at Nakasendo station. I just got off the bus from Magome. I'm going to Tsumago because there is a festival right in Tsumago today. Hi everyone, it's Suki and I'm on my way to Tsumago-juku to join the festival. I'm currently staying at Magome-juku, a post town in Nakatsugawa in Gifu Prefecture, and there's actually a bus from there all the way to Tsumago-juku. But it doesn't start until 9:20 a.m., so I'm taking the long route to get there early. Nagiso station, this is where you need to buy the ticket if you want to ride the bus to Tsumago, and this is the bus. Today's festival is the parade of the Bunka Bunsei Times of the Edo Period, which commemorates the start of the preservation of the post town. The locals dress in Edo period costumes, recreating the Nakasendo back in the old days. We have plenty of time before the parade starts, so let's explore this historic place for a bit. Tsumago-juku is a beautifully preserved post town along the Nakasendo Road, which is an ancient highway in Japan that used to connect Kyoto to Tokyo. Post towns were built along the main roads to cater to travelers. They're like stopovers comprised of inns where travelers are accommodated based on their rank. Tsumago-juku is tucked deep in the Kiso Valley, or Kisoji, here in Nagano Prefecture. It's the 42nd post town out of the 69 post towns located along the Nakasendo. Back in the Edo period, Japanese traveled by foot, boat, or by animals, and they used the 5 major highways, or Gokaido, to reach major locations in Japan. 2 among these 5 highways connect Edo, which is now called Tokyo, which is home to the shogun and where the center of power is, to Kyoto, the home of the emperor. These roads are the Nakasendo, which means inner mountain route, and Tokaido, which means eastern sea route. If you'd like to know more about the Nakasendo, you can click the link up on the screen to check out my vlog about hiking a portion of this road from Magome-juku to Tsumago-juku. Anyway, who traveled along the Nakasendo? There were daimyos and samurais who were called to report to Edo under the Sankin Kotai policy imposed by the Tokugawa shogunate, which required daimyos to stay in Edo for a period of time every other year. There were also shoguns, members of the imperial family, traders, merchants, messengers, pilgrims, and commoners. So how did the preservation of this post town start? Based on Nagiso Tourism Association's website, when the shogunate ended and the emperor regained his power in 1868, building of railways and more roads started, and eventually Tsumago-juku lost its function and deteriorated. Its rehabilitation started in the late 1960s until it became a designated preservation site in 1976. To continuously protect the town, the residents of Tsumago-juku follow strict preservation rules and principles. 34% of the structures in this post town are historic buildings from the Edo period. And one thing you'll notice here is there are no visible power lines, just as how it is back in time. This is the Tsumago Tourist Information Center. Let's get inside. You will find a lot of shops selling local delicacies such as kurikinton, oyaki, gohei mochi, and dango, and shops selling traditional crafts and woodworks. Based on Kiso.com, Kiso Valley is a perfect breeding place for high quality timber, which is why traditional woodcrafting has always been part of their economy. So I think this is where the program will be held later. And by the way, if you see that tall wall, that is actually a wall that is used to prevent spreading of fire from one house to another. I forgot what it's called, but it's a prominent feature in a neighborhood back in the Edo period.
こちらに振る舞い酒をご用意してございます。よろしかったら飲んでってください。木曽の架け橋という
The fireworks just went off, and I read that it's a signal that the parade is about to start. I'm so excited. The parade of the Bunka Bunsei Times of Edo Period Festival, which is also known as Labor Thanksgiving Day, is held every 23rd of November. Locals dress in Edo-style costumes, recreating the post town back in the old days. There are people dressed as samurais, messengers, porters, monks, and many more. And the highlight is the bride on a horse. Based on Britannica.com, Bunka Bunsei is a vibrant era in late Edo period, characterized by a flourishing urban, pleasure-seeking culture and extravagant luxury, contrasting with earlier, more austere times. Marriages during Bunka Bunsei times were usually arranged by families or by a matchmaker, and the wedding was usually held at the groom's home.
行きましょう。はい。それでもう。これは偉いもんだ。
The festival wasn't as crowded as I thought it would be, but there were an enormous number of photographers, mostly elderly people with high-powered cameras. It was during this time when I realized I'm missing my small plastic bag where I keep my cash. I went back to the Tourist Information Center in case someone had returned it, and probably to all the stores I went to earlier. Thankfully, I seem to have left it at Kono Hanaya, most likely when I was buying a dango because the staff were able to keep it. This beautiful old ryokan is where I'm going to have my late lunch today. It's called Fujioto, which used to be an inn. Unfortunately, it stopped its operations in 2024 and now only functions as a restaurant. Last stop before I catch the bus bound for Magome-juku is the waki-honjin. In a post town, there are two kinds of special lodging reserved for officials traveling through major highways like the Nakasendo: the honjin and the waki-honjin. A honjin is a more luxurious and grander accommodation reserved for higher-ranking officials like feudal lords. A waki-honjin is a secondary inn for lower-ranking officials or a backup inn in case the honjin is already full. Both lodgings are usually run by the wealthy families in the village. This waki-honjin in Tsumago is called Okuya and was run by the Hayashi family who had a sake business. It was built in 1877 out of Japanese cypress wood. Guides here at the waki-honjin will assist you and tell you about the history of the place and some really interesting facts. One of the fascinating things here is the beautiful beams of light that stream through the wooden lattice windows, which usually appear in the afternoon, but only from late fall through to winter. And this is the Nagiso Town Museum, which is just right beside the waki-honjin. Here you can find exhibits about the history of Nagiso and the Kiso region, as well as about the town preservation movement here in Tsumago-juku.